welcome back to the Carton Show. Obviously, the big news as far as guys that are not reporting or didn't show up thus far to the mandatory minicamps is right here in New York, and that, of course, is number 8 with the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. Haason Reddick as well. And joining us now is a friend of the show, SNY's Jets insider, Connor Hughes. Connor, good morning, pal. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Good. I appreciated your insight on the Haason Reddick aspect of him not being here. We'll get to that in a second. I've made the point to these knuckleheads all morning that Aaron Rodgers not being here is not that big a deal for 2 reasons. One, the Jets have known for a month that he's not going to be here this week for the minicamp. And number 2, to his credit, he's been here every single day, really, for the last 2.5 months. So you cover the team. You have a feel on, what people in the building are saying about guys. How is the reaction in the building to Aaron Rodgers not being here for the 3-day minicamp?
They've known even longer than that, Craig. I mean, this was a trip that Aaron Rodgers had planned. He actually started putting it together when he was still injured. The dates obviously have been finalized and set, and when the minicamp dates were finalized and set as well, and they overlapped, he immediately let the Jets know, and there was an understanding that he wasn't going to be there. I think the hysteria has built just because Robert Saleh decided to use the word unexcused, and right. The minute he said that, it came off like this is an unacceptable absence from the starting quarterback. And for the very many people who are on the polarizing side of not liking Aaron, this gave them another reason just to start throwing stones and getting them mad at him and all that stuff. But internally, obviously the Jets would love to have their starting quarterback here for minicamp, but I don't think there's any full-blown meltdown over him not being there, Craig. In fact, one of the high-ranking executives that I talked to yesterday said, look, do we want him here? Yes. Is him not being here going to impact anything that he does come the regular season? Absolutely not. So this is just another storm the Jets are going to deal with.
It has no impact whatsoever. The issue is more about, it's just the same old Jets. And I view this a little differently. The mistake, if there is one here, that the Jets made was not getting out in front of it, let's even say last week on Friday. You very easily could have said, hey, guys, I try to make this clear because Aaron was in the building. He could have said it as well. For the minicamp, Aaron is not going to be here. Now, in my opinion, the reason they went out of their way to say it's not an excused absence and they're going to fine him, according with the CBA, is that you can't have, your middle linebacker, your outside rusher, your whomever, say, well, wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers decides not to be here for whatever the reason is, and I have an inkling as to what the reason is. I'll get to that in a second with you. Well, then I can mispractice as well. That's why he's being fined. He knew that he was going to be fined, and he doesn't care that he's going to lose $100 grand or whatever the number is over the next 3 days. Now, I want to put this out to you because I try to be a sleuth, an internet sleuth, and figure out what's going on. We know he's not married, doesn't have children. There isn't a major event in a family member's life that we know of. But I remember a year ago, June 21st, 2023, Aaron Rodgers was in Denver, Colorado, speaking on his belief in the ayahuasca drug at a psychedelic conference. Well, there is a psychedelic conference today on the campus of UCLA. I don't know for a fact that he's there. He may not be there because I know he just did one in March a couple months ago somewhere else. But I would not be surprised if we find out that he was invited to be a speaker at an event like that, and it was important to him because he wants to continue to promote that lifestyle, that he might be at a place like this. A, do you believe in that? And B, if not, do you know where the hell he is?
That's not where he is. That is very good. That is very, very good sleuthing, though. I give you credit for that, for digging that one up. But no, that's not where he is. And the whole thing with Aaron is that he's on a trip. It's been a trip that's been planned for a while, and right now he just doesn't want the whereabouts of his, where he's being put out there, and for good reason, man. If you think about it, this guy is certainly more of a star than I've ever covered. I mean, and sure. Even so, with some of the stances that he's taken politically and medically, however you want to fall on the sides of that coin, it's made him even more popular with some people positively, with a lot more people negatively. And there are security reasons that are at play here where if you just said, hey, Aaron Rodgers is at XYZ, there's going to be a lot of people there, whether it's Page 6, TMZ, all that other stuff. So as of right now, look, I'm sure Aaron's going to be Instagramming and posting his whereabouts pretty shortly once he gets through with where he is for the next couple of weeks here. But unfortunately, I hate to say, Craig, the sleuthing there was not totally.
I took a shot because to me the answer used to be.
Yeah, dude, it was a good one though. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
look, you've covered teams long enough. Plaque's played long enough. I can tell you the answer used to be the Cove at the Atlantis. That was that was always the answer. You just said something, that raised the hairs on my back a little bit. You said a couple of weeks. Is there an expectation of when we find out where he is that he's going to be there for a couple of weeks and it's a long-term kind of commitment of his time?
No, it's just a trip. Like honestly, it's just a trip that he's had planned. It's really nothing like that deep. Like it's Aaron Rodgers, so everyone is taking it that way. But you actually made a great point, Craig, where you said the unexcused excuse. You also have Haason Reddick. It would be very hard for Robert Saleh to stand up in front of the media where he's got 53 other guys, I guess however many guys are on the roster right now with tryout players and all that. And turn around and be like, look, our quarterback, he can take the trip. That's okay. We're going to sign off on that one. Our linebacker who wants more money, no, that's not okay.
Well, let me get into that. It just
sets a bad precedent.
I want to get into that because you're the first guy to report, and I didn't know this until you reported yesterday, that when the Jets acquired Haason Reddick from the Eagles, and they, of course, signed Bryce Huff to that big deal, that $50+ million deal, that there was an agreement between Haason Reddick and his reps and the New York Jets that the Jets were not going to entertain redoing his contract prior to this season. So it seems to me like Haason Reddick, and we know he's working out. I know Robert Saleh yesterday said he spoke to him over the weekend. It seems like the Jets were caught a little bit with their pants down on Haason Reddick not being here specifically for this minicamp. Do I read that right?
Yeah, they were surprised. Yeah, that was something that surprised them, Craig, because they made it, like I said, you talked about the story on SNY. They made it abundantly clear to him, we're not ripping up your contract. We'll make slight adjustments to it. I mean, on a larger scale, I would compare it to what the Giants did with Darius Slayton, where he also wanted a new contract. Obviously, he is not Haason Reddick in any way, shape, or form. But what the Giants did was they added extra incentives in there that he could go out there, and if he performed really well on the field, he can basically make another $500,000 to $750,000. It was going to be on a larger scale, maybe $1, $2, or $3 million that Haason could make in incentives. But the Jets made it clear to him, we're not just going to give you a new 3 or 4 year contract that's going to pay you $28, $29, $30 million annually. If you go out on the field and do what we think you're capable of doing in this defense, we'll give you that after the season, or somebody else will give that to you after the season. But we're tabling all of those. There's going to be no brand new contract this year. Haason was so on board with it, Craig, that I talked to 2 people that spoke to him directly in the building when he was there for his physical to finalize the trade, who said that he was open about, I'm coming back on my contract. I'm going to be here for the offseason program, OTAs, and minicamp. At some point between then and now, somebody got in his ear. Haason decided, no, I want my new contract, and he's holding out until he gets it. Now, ultimately, the people that I touch base with within the Jets building, they stressed to me that, look, he's going to report. Do we want him here now? Yes. Did we think he was going to be here now? Yes. Is it a big deal that he's not here now? No, it's noteworthy, but we know he's going to be here for training camp because he's not going to give up the money that it would cost him to skip training camp, which Plax can talk about a little bit, I guess, with what Michael did the year the Giants won the Super Bowl that first year.
Right.
But yeah, it's I don't think he's going to be willing to cut that check to miss all of training camp. So eventually he's going to show up. And the Jets fully believe that when he does, he's going to be in great shape and he's going to do on the field.
Yeah, and look, the reality of Haason Reddick is because of the business side of football, he can't afford not to be here for training camp and play. And it sucks because he doesn't have any more money guaranteed on his contract. But it's about, $14 million?
Which is another adjustment they could make.
Right. They can guarantee the contract for this year. My gut is they probably will guarantee a good portion of it. But always appreciate your time. And I understand that you took the kids to Disney World. And had you called me,
did.
I would have told you, never take children to Disney World. It's the worst place on the planet. But you didn't call me, so I couldn't say that.
Yeah, I got to get your number, man. We were just talking about that. So now we'll
talk to you throughout the season. And appreciate your time as always. Connor Hughes does a great job, SNY, the Jets insider. And he was the only guy that had that story that Haason Reddick and the Jets had an agreement that you are playing under the contract essentially the way it is. My gut is that they'll guarantee a portion of this year to make the blow to him a little bit easier. And then the kid goes out there and has 12 sacks. He's going to get a lot of money. And that's what we look forward to seeing. We got to take a quick break, they're telling me. So take a quick break. We got a little Joe Burrow news, Cincinnati Bengal fans. And we'll get you ready for Game 3 tonight. Mavericks and Celtics right after this. Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.